Hello, everyone, and welcome in another English One podcast. As you can see, I am in tank top, and this is a first time in the entire series. But I bet that today's guest is doing it many often than me, just because here where I live is a freaking hot, and I'm dying. But
I'm in
when
Texas. It's hot here
yeah,
too.
that's what I'm going to. Today's guest is Jordan Hutchinson. Am I say it correct?
Yep, Jordan Hutchinson. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. The
Glad
the
to be on.
surname is wasn't tough for me, to be honest, just because I wanted to say it clear and loud, and I'm trying almost in front of my mirror to be right.
Well, I appreciate
Yeah.
it, man. Thank you.
How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm 4.5 weeks out, so a lot going on, but it's been a great prep.
It's crazy that you are 4.5 weeks out and you're looking how you looking right now. I saw that you posted new photos today, and that's crazy, man. It was a high day
Yeah.
for you today.
Yeah, today's a high day. We've been running a lot of high days and no cardio. It's been a very interesting prep, and I'm sure we'll go into a lot of that, but Um, I usually don't have to push very hard to get condition. Usually I eat pretty high all prep. Usually I don't have to push cardio hard. But this prep was so weird. It's almost like for a while I was recomping my body and my weight was just stuck and my body just wanted to grow instead of get leaner. And we pushed the food down, and then all of a sudden my body started responding, and now it's just like I'm getting lean so fast and we're way ahead. So, I'm not complaining now.
You have a one prep when you basically move backwards. To be honest, you told that on the podcast with
Yeah.
just Justin Harris. I
Yeah.
remember,
Yeah.
and
2018, it was that was my second NPC show.
yeah, and this I just talking about this just because it's crazy how you improve now from that prep that was basically a disaster to
Yeah.
this prep who's
Yeah,
looking
man.
like going smooth as hell. Is if you're not telling me that you are on the prep and I'm not seeing your physique, obviously, just because you have straightened glutes 4.5 weeks out,
Hmm.
I would not believe it just because the amount of
Really.
foods you
Right.
eat on a
Right.
daily and you're not doing any cardio and you
Yeah.
still even on your Insta stories you look fresh. Maybe right now
Thank
you're
you.
tired just because it's
Yeah.
probably a late and you're get through tough days as you told me behind the camera,
I'm
but
depleted for
yeah.
sure. When you're this lean, you feel tired no matter how much food you eat. It doesn't even matter at that point. You almost get hungrier eating more food.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Before we go to your actual prep, because this is a crazy interesting for me topic,
Yeah.
I just wanted to know you a little bit better, just because I was scrolling through the internet and I was trying to find something like, I don't know, a brief history of your competing or your childhood and how it started. Was
Hmm.
how's looking your first diet? Who told you
Yeah.
that you can basically lift stuffs from the ground and grow by that? How's been going? Just
So you want to
what
know about
the
like the very
first
beginning,
yeah,
what
the
got me
first
into it?
question is gonna be what are you doing before you step into a bodybuilding? Because
So
I
I
don't know it.
played basketball my whole life. That was actually my passion. And I'm 5'9", like 5'9.5". So I'm not a taller guy, so I would have been a point guard. I was okay, and I played from the age of like 4. So I was always an athlete, and then I just realized I wasn't that good at it, and I devoted so much time to it. And I was a junior in high school, and I played 1 year of football, and I was really pretty good at that. But when you're starting as a junior, playing football, you're behind like you American football, you've got to be playing for years to be any good, even if you're very I was very athletic. And I was about 165 pounds, and I started training with the football team, and out of nowhere, I just was I liked training at that point, whereas prior I hated working out with weights at all. I hated it. And I realized my body responded really fast. And I gained like 30 pounds that year, naturally, obviously. And um, even a bunch of people thought I wasn't, and um, I just kept growing and growing. And of course, I was eating anything in sight and just growing and staying lean. And I was like, man, I love this. This is so much fun. And eventually I got talked into competing by some people at the gym. So go ahead, bro.
I have to
No, you're good.
interrupt you just because you told me that you grow and grow and grow, and every pros who have basically amazing genetics just give it at that answer. I just train and eat whatever and that, and I grow, and eventually I compete. But we all know that this is not that simple. You
No,
probably
that
research
was the
upon on
beginning
the internet.
stages.
Yeah. But I am interested on how you even know what to do at the gym. You step on a gym, and now your goal is not like sports with others. It's just you, and you have that goal in your mind that you want to build muscle because that's probably was your goal.
Yeah,
So what now? Basically, everything that you're doing before has to change.
right. Yeah, I mean, and it was honestly inspiration from, so I had a training partner at the time that played football with me that got me into the gym. And then, we became like, I don't know what got us into it other than just like it was the beginnings of probably seeing more stuff on YouTube. It was like this was 2014-ish was my senior year of high school. And so I was watching like Ronnie Coleman, Branch Warren, Jay Cutler videos. I'm like, these guys are freaks. I want to look like this. This is so awesome. And so, I would be watching those videos headed to the gym or whatever. And that was my inspiration. Was those hardcore guys like that. And then, Generation Iron came out somewhere around that time and watched Pumping Iron with Arnold and watched those movies and got inspired by that. And then I just wanted to get huge. So then that's where my training style evolved from just training to get strong for sports to training to get as big as possible. And I just absolutely, that was my first love was just, and still is just like training to gain muscle. It's just so much fun.
Are you
So,
also a split hopper or just stick to one training plan?
oh, it was such a bro split. It was back day, international chest day on Monday, back day, shoulder day, leg day, arm day. I never skipped leg days, but that it was a basic 5 day split. Just and I didn't know what I was doing at first. I would train some days for 3, 4 hours, just because I didn't want to leave the gym. I just loved it so much. But eventually you learn what works and what doesn't. Like I said, I gained 30 pounds off the bat that first year eating anything in sight. And then eventually that stops working and you have to take the next steps to say, okay, now I gotta reel in my diet and actually nail this down. And when I was like 21, actually, I stopped drinking any alcohol. I would only do it once a month back then, but it was like with my buddies, I'd stop doing that. So you progress and get more rigid over time, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of really started locking it in more and more. And then I did my first show in 2015. It was a natural show.
And how you placed?
Yeah, I just did novice. It's funny, it was novice heavyweights because I guess I was 183 and they split it 175 and under and then 175 and up. And the guy that beat me ended up being a classic IFBB pro years later as well. But this was in a natural SNBF or something division, and I placed second. I did okay. I did my own prep. I didn't have any guidance. but I had no clue what I was doing. I looked okay, but I was not in crazy conditioning or anything. So
Second is great for a first time.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
nice.
yeah. I don't
I
remember
was
how many was in the class. It's been so long.
I probably was almost last.
Mm.
Yeah, but
For all I remember, a second could have been last. It's been so long, I don't remember how many
uh,
were there.
yeah, I
But
got it.
and then I didn't compete again for another 2 years because I knew I needed to grow and I wanted to compete in the NPC at that point, and moved on to hire some coaches in the meantime and work with some different people.
Yeah,
And my first NPC
that's
show was
what's
26.
interested me the most. How many
Yeah,
coaches do you have, and how's the preparation and off seasons was probably there was a difference. Obviously, every coaches have their own, let's say, tricks
right,
and habits. So
right.
can you briefly tell us how
For
it
sure.
all begins?
So, I mean, let's see, it was probably 2016, I believe. I was like 20, almost 21. And I started with a coach and I told him I wanted to go into the NPC. And, he introduced me to super supplements. And at first I was hesitant. And, I actually even brought my own stuff to the table that I limited what he wanted to do. And I was very conservative and wanted to start slow. And so did an off season with him, but it wasn't very involved. He was semi-local. He lives like 2 hours away from where I was, and he helped me learn some of the ropes and stuff. But then I found a local guy that was more invested, and he helped me in my first NPC prep in 2017. Now that was interesting because he kind of based a lot of it on his experience, and he's one of these guys that gets shredded very easily. So he only had me doing 20 minutes of cardio. He made sure I had a really super dirty cheat meal every week, which I would never do in a prep now. And I looked like maybe 4 to 6 weeks out on stage. We only did a 9 week prep. So now I do like 16 to 20 week preps, So it's a very different approach. And then I got out of that show. I actually hopped to another coach and he took care of my off season. Honestly, got kind of fluffy, too a little too on the fat side, pushed a little too hard. He had me eating Pop Tarts and carbolin shakes and just tons of stuff that I shouldn't have been doing. And but I still had kind of visible abs. But that was the show prep where I switched to another coach and I was 255 prior to prep. And by the end of it, I was 195 on stage. So I lost 60 pounds in 16 weeks. We were doing an hour and a half of interval stairs cardio, tons of zero carb days in a row, and then like one high day on the weekend with like a semi cheat meal like a steak and rice or something like that. Like I'd go get a steak from Outback that was buttery. Um, but I was so fatigued. But I will say that prep I got peeled. So like my upper body was ready 7 weeks out, but my lower body was not ready until like maybe 4 weeks out. But we still over dieted at that point. But I want to say it may have not been a total mistake for that to happen because every time since then I've been able to get super striated glutes. And it
Yeah.
was like that first time I got my glutes really striated. So maybe I needed to come down that far just to get that new baseline of body fat. I don't know.
I think
So,
that everyone should at least once over dieting just to get through this basically baby fat that we accumulate
right,
from the day one. Because this is like a if someone have a problem with glutes, you probably have to over diet to get
right,
through it.
right.
So yeah,
And the
but
thing is too,
that 26 weeks prep.
it was 20.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. It was 16, 16.
Oh, 16.
But
Okay.
16 weeks and 60 pounds. So it
God damn it.
way too fast of a rate. I don't even know how it happened. I mean, I was suffering. I That was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Still hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I felt like I was dying. It was
Yeah,
rough.
but just to add another thing, I think that those kind of preps are basically builds us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Built so much character for me to get through that, and I had a manual job.
yeah.
Very manual labor job.
If you get back in your memories to that prep, and even if you are feeling tired right now, you just
Right.
laugh to yourself
No, I
how
know
easy it is.
it's funny you say that because I was talking to my wife the other night and I was like, I think about some of these hard days I'm having right now, but if I think back to that prep in 2018 when I was having to move constantly all day at my job, getting probably 20,000 steps, 30, 25,000 steps a day, and then still doing an hour and a half of cardio and train and on zero carbs, like this is nothing compared to that. So, plus, when you build more muscle, you can handle more food and you don't have to do as
Of
much
course.
cardio, but everything changes. But yeah, that was my hardest prep easily. So, and that was that prep happened. I stayed with that coach in that off season period for a little bit, and then I actually switched to Matt Jansen very briefly, maybe like 5 6 months. Switched to Matt Jansen in my off season, and financially, I couldn't quite keep up for what he was giving me, the time he was giving me. I loved his approach and I learned a lot from his training principles and the program he gave me. But then I actually switched to my current coach, Chris Tuttle, and that was January of 2020, and I've been with him ever since.
Yeah, and Chris is amazing.
He's so
To be
awesome, man.
honest, I am not getting along with everything he's doing just because I'm a high protein guy,
Oh yeah,
basically a
yeah,
bro.
yeah. I'm only eating today's a high day. I'm only eating like 150 grams of chicken on my meals right now today.
If you saying that, you mean raw or
Cooked,
cooked? Oh,
cooked.
that's not
Not
that
bad. He doesn't
bad.
go
Yeah,
low protein with me, but he's not high.
yeah, yeah. It's not
And I mean, my
meals.
regular low days where we're not going up in carbs and down in protein, it's 175 grams of cooked chicken. He used to have me on like 200 grams a meal, 6 meals a day. But we brought it down. I performed better on higher carbs and less protein. I grew much better, honestly.
Yeah,
I know it's different for everyone though, right?
yeah. I think so. As you probably know, there's a big boom on Stefan Kinsel right now,
Mhm.
and he's known
Few of
from
my friends
being
are with
be
him now. He's
yeah.
got my buddy Martin and Brady
Of
King.
course, Martin is right now probably my favorite bodybuilder out
I
there.
love his physique, man.
I
I
love
love
his
his
physique.
physique.
Yeah. Every
What
update,
did you think of him with Nick Walker? How did you feel about that matchup?
hard to say just because, to be honest, I love both because
Mhm.
I am a kind of freak lover. but
Yeah, and Nick's
but
one of
Martin's
Nick.
shape,
I was just talking to Nick today. He's one of my favorite dudes in the industry. Like,
yeah.
and I love his physique because I always wanted to be a mass monster, and I ended up being one of the pretty guys. So I'm with you too. I love the freak physiques as well.
Yeah, but you see, the Martin is like a perfect shape. He's
He's an in
like
between.
yeah, because he's big. Don't get me
He
wrong,
is.
but his proportion is he's not missing anything.
No,
Anything. You
he's
just
perfectly
if you wanted to
balanced.
cherry pick on something, you just can't.
No,
And also
perfectly balanced.
his posing is for me is top notch. I even
Oh, agree.
try to register to the session on posing with him, but he's just told me to wait until his website's gonna be set up
Gotcha.
for that. Yeah, so
Too
I
busy.
hoping for do that with him. Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, it's
So
very polished posing, and it also just shows his passion for the sport, for bodybuilding. He has, and that's something I've talked to him about too. It's just like it's that deep passion that some guys have that I'm sure you have, that like you can't really explain it, but it shows. So like his passion comes out through like his posing, um, and he's obsessive with his training. He trains like crazy, dude.
Yeah, yeah, I know
Trains like a
that.
freak. But now
He
that's
he
where
can
I
handle.
differentiate a little bit. I'm more on the like I train very hard, but I also train very accurately. Like I'm very accurate and particular with my training and my contractions and my stretches and pauses and different things like that. So
Yeah, but I don't think that you can like separate those things because
no.
if you're uh, very precise with your training, probably it's gonna be even harder. Just because you bounce a bar of your chest
Which
doesn't mean
Martin
you.
doesn't do. Martin's
Yeah,
accurate. He's
yeah,
accurate and
Martin is.
precise.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
just does tons of volume. That
I
dude will
have
do
in my head.
7 back exercises in a workout.
Yeah, I have Justin Shire in my head. Just
Yeah,
because he's known from doing it very slowly and often Fuad is making fun of him. Like,
right.
but
But it works for him.
yeah, and he's working very, very hard.
Yeah.
Just because
He's made
he's not
incredible improvements.
screaming and not pouring
Right.
sweat and stuff like that doesn't mean it's not training
Right.
hard.
Sometimes
And
people put it on, just for show to
yeah,
seem like I've actually had this conversation with a lot of my clients. It's like when I say to train intensely, I don't mean just start grunting and seem like you're training hard. Like you need to look like that muscle's failing. So
you can saw how many hard reps someone do if you just watching the pace of
exactly.
the bar moving
If they
because
had one more.
yeah, of course, always.
Yeah.
I am a coach myself, so people just send me a video and I just tell them straight, you have eight more. Why
Yeah,
do you
right.
stop? Yeah.
And they're like, there's no way. But that truly, truly, if they were being honest with themselves, most people have more in the tank.
Yeah, of course. Every time, especially if someone just touch a bar and now you're full of strength and do three more and
Right.
he's not even helping you. This is
Right.
just a mental game,
It's a mental game.
especially on
Bodybuilding
a
is.
prep. Especially on a prep. You probably saw yourself with your clients that if you cut 60 grams of carbs, now the
Right.
next check-in is, oh, my strength is coming down.
It's in here. Or
Yeah.
or they go to a cruise and
Yeah.
it's not even left their system yet. They're like, oh man, my joints and I feel weak. And I'm like, dude, you this stuff isn't even cleared yet. It's still in your system.
And to be
Cracks me up.
honest, at the beginning of the prep, you probably is the perfect environment to get even stronger just because you are not
Right.
overwhelming with the foods. Your
Right.
digestion is screwed up. Your nutrient partitioning is better, and
Exactly.
everything just goes smooth. So
When
it's
I
the
start a
best.
prep,
Yeah.
my training is so good because I recover from my sets quicker too. So I'm
Yes.
training with a guy, Brandon Barrow. He's an IFBB pro as well. And he won the Olympia amateur to go pro, and he lives like 8 minutes down the road. Dude's stupid strong, like pressing the 200-pound dumbbells for 12 reps. Deadlift. He was deadlifting 6 plates per side the other day. Just strong dude. So I have to slow myself down because I can't keep up with the weight he's using.
I saw the
But
video probably.
yeah, I'm sure you probably
You
did.
got it on your YouTube channel.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
him. And so, it's funny because now I'm to the point my training is declining because I'm drying out. Like my body, my joints are dry. I'm more fragile at this once you get this lean, you are going to legitimately be weaker. But for that first little bit of prep, it was almost like, he's full swing off season. And for him to recover between sets takes so much longer than me. And we'll do a set of squats and I'll like be leaned over for a bit, but then my breath comes back so much faster from all the cardio. I'm 40 pounds lighter than I
Yeah.
was, all this, and then I'm like, good to go again, and he still can't talk after his set. And I'm like, man, I remember how that felt like 2 months ago, 3 months ago when I was 300. So it's funny how it flip flops back and forth, but it is a mental game. It's like you've got to know just because your carbs are cut or just because you lost some weight does not mean your performance should suffer. It's probably going to be better on a you're starting prep, you're going to go up in training performance, and then at some point it is going to tip over, but you got a while in prep before that happens.
Yeah, and it's probably working in both ways because at the end of the prep, you're probably going to be weaker unless you're a Martin
I am right
Fitzwater.
now. Oh
Yeah.
man. My pressing
And
streak
no,
goes the more I
yeah.
lose weight too,
And
because your leverage is
no matter how much you eat, just because you are so depleted that
right.
even if have 3 days of high carb, it's not
Oh
enough.
yeah.
It's not
No,
enough.
it'd probably just dry me out even more, honestly, and
Yeah.
I would just my metabolism ramps up. Like it's crazy because the for weeks there I was eating like 80 grams of rice for some of my meals and probably maxing out the days at like 300 grams of carbs on my training days, and I'm used to 1,000 grams of carbs in the
Yeah.
off season. So that's like bird food to me, which I know other people go lower. And then off days were like got as low as 185 grams of carbs. But then once we started getting really lean and we ramp it up, and now my high days are higher than they were, I don't feel any better. I just because you're just so lean, like it's nothing's gonna revive you at that point. You just got to get through it, you know?
Yeah. The body fat is endocrine active also, so it regulates many like stuffs in your body. So you have to deal with it. So that's a normal thing that you're losing your energy during the day, and you're sleepy, and you're not in the mood and stuff like that,
Right,
and your strength go down
right.
on a session. But you are 4.5 weeks out, and if someone told you that he's weaker 2 weeks into a cut, that's just
Yeah,
a
right.
fucking silly
No.
dude.
Yeah, yeah. You're just lying to yourself, and it's you can't mentally hang. Like if you're thinking that quick into prep, then you not got what it takes because it's about to get a lot harder. You know?
Okay, Jordan. So we actually get to a prep somehow.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Sorry.
I wanted to first touch on your off season just because
Yeah.
there was a hard and long off season, but you're
Yeah.
gain a lot.
It was
So
this one wasn't long. So, but the one between 2018 and 2021 when I went pro, that was my long off season.
I thought that you're doing your off season almost a year right now.
Well, so it was I did Texas Pro last year was my pro debut. And so, by the time I'm on stage again, it'll have been a whole year since I competed last. But for us, that's actually short off season.
Okay.
So to finish kind of my backstory, I guess I got off stage in 2018 September, and I didn't compete all of 2019. Got with Chris in 2020. Then COVID happened. I didn't end up competing that year. So I didn't compete until late summer 2021, did a regional show, and then did USA's, and that's when I went pro in 2021 USA's. I won the Mr. USA overall. But that was 3 years away from the stage, and I went pro around 223, I think that was the morning weight. So I gained almost 30 pounds of stage weight. But that was 3 whole years. And then I took 2 years off after I went pro before I did Texas Pro. So that was another long season, off season, because I knew I needed more size. And in that 2 years, I gained another 20 pounds of stage weight. So I've averaged 10 pounds of stage weight since 2018. And then um, from Texas to this year, Texas was in August. And now we're going to compete again next month in July. We're looking like about 15 pounds up, somewhere around there, 13 to
That's
15 pounds
crazy.
up.
That's crazy, especially that you're so advanced. So
I was
15 pounds of
surprised, man.
muscle
I was
is
surprised. I think a lot of it has to do with my environment here in Texas now and the training, the facility I have to train at after, training on kind of to be on like I love the gyms back home in North Carolina where I grew up, but they don't have the money to have the kind of brand new equipment and hand selected equipment we have here at I've got Absolute Recomp right by my house. Crazy amazing gym, and then down the road where Gasp home base is Destination Dallas is only an hour away. So I'll go train there once a week, every other week. And both those gyms are so much better equipped than anything I've ever experienced in my decade of bodybuilding. So like just being here alone has been a game changer. And then Chris Tuttle lives 15 minutes from me now, whereas we
Yeah.
used to live states away. Now we're doing in-person check-ins once a week or every other week through my prep. Just everything changed in my environment, and I think I just leveled up in a lot of ways and totally locked in on bodybuilding, and that's where the results came.
I believe that each and every year we are making even more improvements, but just because we are setting everything constantly better.
Right,
Like 5 years ago, I thought I am doing the best I can. And if I'm
right.
thinking about that times, I'm laughing just because that was silly what I am doing,
Yeah.
what I was doing.
You
But
look back and you th hindsight's
yeah,
2020, you know?
and right now I have everything settled around the bodybuilding, everything,
Yeah,
my
me
whole
too.
life, every meetings, every decision in my life is first have to think through if it's gonna be agreeing with my schedule when it
Right,
comes to meals,
right,
uh,
exactly.
posing, everything. Yeah,
Everything's about timing
yeah.
and making it run fluently. Your
And
day's
even
got to run
though
smoothly on
I
schedule.
bet, I bet we're gonna spoke in 3 years and we're gonna laugh.
Yeah, we're gonna say we learned a better way to do it.
Yeah.
I tell that to my clients a lot. Whether it's about training hard or consistency, rigidity in your diet, like you always learn how to be more precise with everything. Like, and that's a common thing I talk with my clients about is like every year I think I couldn't possibly train any harder. And the next year I look back and I'm like, man, I didn't train hard enough. I've learned how to do this even better. Or, I wasn't as detailed enough with my meal schedule and my meal timing or my sleep schedule or whatever. It's always leveling up. And everybody thinks there's always some other reason as to why someone's improving so fast or still improving at a high level. But it's when you get to that high level, you got to take your work ethic up even more in order to get to the next level. Like it has to keep going up. It always
Yeah,
has to go up.
scary thing is that everyone right now is just thinking about the PEDs. And
Exactly.
to be honest,
Yeah.
I know it's gonna sound like we are just talking like that just because we are on a podcast, but each and every year I realize how much PEDs are just something like a cherry on a cake. If you are
Right.
not doing everything right, it's not gonna help you at all.
No.
Maybe in a beginner stage because you're, I don't know, gonna swell up a little bit because
Right.
of the estrogen effect and mineral accumulation and stuff like that. But that's it.
At
Forget
the end
about
of
the
the
real
day,
muscle.
if you don't need the help to recover from
Yeah,
what you're doing, what point is there? There's plenty of people that can do the same exact thing, take the same exact supplements, and then they will have entirely different results because one guy has an entirely different work ethic and the other guy thinks that it's just what he's putting into his body that's going to make him grow, and that guy doesn't grow or make improvements, but the one that's consistent and does everything right, then that cherry on top does help because they're taking it to that level and that extent. But it's just such a common misconception that it's just more is better.
yeah.
Like we could go into that, but I've learned that more is not better in many cases for many things.
Just yesterday, I have a new client who was on 3+ gram of gear, and he is doing only preps. And then when it's off season, he just eat whatever he wants, train if he wanted to, if not, they don't. Basically gets overweight as fuck.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know, 60 pounds over the stage weight
So unnecessary.
in a few days. Yeah. So, and he's sticking to nothing basically relates to bodybuilding for a half years, then adds 3 grams of gear and going into a prep.
Well, see,
So
those are the kind of people that are unhealthy and give it a bad rap,
to be
and that
honest,
will have the
his blood
negative health
works
effects.
his blood works is not that bad. He's just
Well, then he's
lucky guy.
genetically blessed
Yeah,
health-wise.
he's just lucky guy, but he is not improving year to year, and he's not seeing it. And I just talking to him just cut his cycle a lot, and just told
Yeah,
him just stick to the plan for a long time.
yeah,
Just make your off season like your contest prep, and then you're gonna see the improvements.
that's the
That's
key.
all.
I've told
Yeah.
so many people that they don't they still can't separate the it's almost like they need to separate the word and don't even call it off season. Because when I think off season, I never think off. I never think freedom from bodybuilding or like I'm not working that hard or that consistent. I think that's when I need to lock it in even more. Yeah, I'll have more balance with being able to go out with my wife once a week or with my friends once a week. But that's the only change. Everything else is the same. I'm still eating 6 meals a day. Everything goes on the scale. I'm not eating junk throughout the week. I'm not, missing my cardio. I'm not missing my ab training. I'm not like it's just it's not an excuse to become lazy. The problem is I think for people is you get this you get to this point in the off season where you don't see frequent changes. So it's hard for a lot of people to remain motivated. But I think that's one of the reasons I've progressed in the past several years as much as I have. Like that 3 year off season that I told you about, I never once pulled back or pulled off diet or went off the rails or anything. Like I was obsessive about bodybuilding that whole time. Um, and I did get fluffy because we were just pushing for 3 years and never doing the prep, and eventually you're just going to get fat. And I do believe sometimes you do. Some people just have to get fat once or twice to get huge.
Like Joe.
But yeah, I mean, it's just sometimes you have to, and I don't regret it. But I was brutally consistent, even though I looked like garbage. And I was still shoveling rice meals down, even though it looked like I was probably eating McDonald's. But, you know, you have to stay focused year round, and people don't realize it's consistency over time is literally all bodybuilding is. But that's the time part they struggle with because it's like they can get locked in for 16 weeks and get all excited because they're getting shredded and they look their best and they're getting these compliments and attention. But then when people don't care as much because they're, you know, heavy in the off season, a little fluffy, and they're not getting all the Instagram likes, they lose motivation because the motivation was never a passion for bodybuilding. It was a passion for attention or whatever else. And that's the problem with the landscape of bodybuilding these days is social media and people just not being able to lock in the off season. And then they don't treat their off season like prep because they rely on motivation, not discipline.
Yeah,
So
this is why you don't have the problem with that, just because you are a bodybuilder and you love it.
yeah,
Being a bodybuilder means that you're doing everything right for yourself,
right,
not for the stage, not for the judges, for yourself. You're doing it because you're loving it. It's not
right,
like you just waiting for a day to your prep ends just to eat some garbage. Everyone likes to eat something sometimes.
right, right,
That's normal. We are human, but it's
right.
not like you are waiting for that.
Exactly.
This is why I just don't get it. Why some guys just have the goal, wanted to get their pro card or win the pro shows or stuff like that, and then they act like they're just haven't been on a vacation. And when it's prep starts, they go to the work. So
Yep.
it sounds like you're who does love to go to the work? We are going to do work just to make some money. And
Right.
bodybuilding should be a fun. So you don't have to
Right.
feel like you are working. You are
Right.
just living.
Exactly. That's the life you'd pick if there was no stage or no Instagram or anything. And I think that's the key for most of us that really truly love this. And the problem with most of those that treat their off season like a vacation, like you said, those are the people that don't love it for what it is. They love it for whatever benefits they receive, and I can just think off the top of my head several guys I know that are wondering why their preps aren't going so well, but they treat their whole off season like vacation, man. And then they struggle during their prep, and I'm like, what did you expect to happen? Like, you didn't put the work in all year. So like I did. I made the sacrifices. I wasn't screwing off all year. I was locked in. So now, I mean, this is what I get for my efforts. It pays off, you know?
I love how Spady told on the latest podcast that right now he's locked in. He thought he
Yeah.
was,
Right.
but he's just right now. So I hope that he is gonna be shredded
I do
finally.
too. I do
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So yeah,
I
I
think they're
wish
on a
him the best.
podcast right now, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He does his podcast at this time.
oh, okay. It's late for me.
Yeah, I know. I sorry about that. I
Not
figured
a
you were probably
not a
wanting to go to
problem.
bed.
Not a problem. Not a problem, man. I can stick the whole night just to talk with you.
I
Okay,
appreciate it, man. It means a lot.
man. I am so curious how it's look today's because the latest preps were kind of different. There was a preps that you are not doing enough. There was a preps that you're doing too much.
Yep.
And right now seems to be just enough, but
Yep.
perfect.
Yep.
So tell me how's different and how it all begins. Just because you are finished your off season with weight that was
Got to 302 morning weight was my peak weight, 302
302,
pounds.
but that was probably a little bit watery, so 10 pounds
Maybe, but I was
probably
consistently
get
like
off.
298, 300 for a bit there,
Okay,
for a
okay,
few
okay,
weeks. Then we pulled
okay.
back down. So probably overall like a very consistent like 295
Yeah, okay.
for a
So
while.
so how it's all started. Are you doing a huge cut at the beginning and get into a deficit right away, or it was a slow piece, like a cutting a little bit, adding a little bit cardio? Because I know that you're doing your 25 minutes 5 times a week whole year, so
Yeah.
probably cardio just
I
stays the
mean,
same or just go slightly up.
we never make huge changes. So the thing is, so this is my third prep with Chris, and they've been hard at times, but none of them have been like horrendous, where it's like I'm killing myself to get in condition. There's definitely been times where I had to dig and feel fatigued, but he does a really good job of truly managing fatigue, not just like and understanding the difference between general prep fatigue and like deep fatigue where you're just running the body into the ground. So generally in off season we just slowly taper into prep. So we start at 20 weeks out, kind of a pre-prep. I want to say before that we started pulling my weight down a little bit just because I was getting to a point where training wasn't as good at 300 pounds. It was just kind of like I just felt lethargic and just heavy and hard to move my body around and not mobile. And we were like, all right, this isn't that beneficial. Let's pull food back a little bit. So we did, and that was a little bit before like our pre-prep. And then at 20 weeks out, he started pulling me down a little bit, but I think cardio stayed relatively the same. It was like 5 sessions of 20 minutes, and then maybe we bumped to like 25. And then we kind of slowly tapered. And this was actually the longest Chris allowed me to have cheat meals in a prep. I went all the way to 12 weeks out with cheat meals once a week. And, they got cleaned up. Like by the end, I was having like chicken and rice at a Greek restaurant or something, my last cheat meal, I believe it was. So nothing crazy, but um, I was having meals with my wife every Sunday for a while, kept those in and was still improving. And then we pulled them out like 12 weeks out. And then we kept tapering. And then there was a point this prep that was really tough because mentally I just had too much on my plate. I was stressed all the time. I'd signed up a bunch of clients all at once and just took too much all at once instead of like spreading it out. And I had, some clients that were in prep that just were not listening to anything I said and doing their thing and cheating on their diet and then expecting me to come in and save them and, make last minute changes. Oh, what do I do? They're blowing me up because they cheat on their diet, whatever. And I love them, like if they listen to this, but there was some prep stress that was like, all right, my coaching isn't going as well. Not that I don't, not numbers wise, but just like overwhelmed and a bunch of people in prep and no one's listening to what I say. And then, I had other life stresses and a lot of obligations from all sides, not sleeping well. And my body just wasn't losing body fat. And then I was too scale focused. And that's something it's funny that it took me this long to learn this because I'll tell my clients this all the time, don't focus on the scale. And then I can't listen to my own advice. So me and Chris, we stalled on weight for weeks and I was going low carbs for me. And we got up to like 40 minutes of cardio, which is high amount of cardio for me. Plus I do 10,000 steps a day outside of my cardio anyway. So I track my steps and my movement, so I go on a lot of walks with my dog. So that helps keep my actual like regimented cardio lower. Um, and I just kept stalling on weight. Well, sure enough, we compare pics for like 3 weeks straight at the same weight, and my body changed drastically. So at first I was like, Chris, do you think I'm recomping? Like, do you think maybe I'm building some muscle right now? Or he's like, I don't know. We're on pretty low food for you to be building muscle. Sure enough, we had. Somehow my body was just responding in that kind of way. Like, I know the stress was causing me to hold a little bit of water and body fat that I probably could have lost at the time, but the scale wasn't moving because I was somehow growing and responding. And then we hit a tipping point and that just started falling off. But this prep was hard just because of all the life stuff going on. And it's been one of those preps where I realize how important it is to keep my mental state calm and keep stress low, or the body fat's not going to come off, the sleep's not going to be good. So it's funny because, I'm competing in my second year as a pro and I'm still not learning to take my own advice on some of this stuff, Like don't worry about the scale, don't stress yourself out in prep. So focus on sleep, all the things I would say to someone. And I'm like, for a bit there, I was failing on those things, honestly. But luckily, more than anything, it was just that my body was not dropping weight because somehow my training and recovery was so efficient that I was actually changing but recomping it like, 10 weeks out.
Yeah.
So
And to that that you told that you are not listening to your own advices. And to be honest, I am the same. So this is why I have huge respect to people like John Jewett, who
they
are
coach
yeah,
themselves.
they coach themselves and they're doing it very well.
I couldn't
That's
do
the
it, man.
point.
I
That's me
overthink.
neither. Me neither. I'm a huge baby. I'm a huge. My coach probably hates me when it's off season and we come to prep. Doesn't matter. I have stupid idea. Stupid to the point that if I am writing it to myself, I would probably laugh
Yeah,
of the guy
right.
who wrote it.
But it's just
You
because you're
know?
overthinking, you're in your own
Yeah. You
thoughts.
always think about stuff that's irrelevant. Like I have ideas like maybe we bump it up the protein.
Hmm.
But why? You're growing very well. Oh yeah,
Right. That he would say
that's
this,
right.
Chris would say the same
Yeah,
thing to me. I've asked
yeah,
that question before. Why would we do
yeah,
that? It's working.
yeah.
It's like that's what I would say to myself if I was asking myself that same question.
Yeah, and you have those kind of ideas like every 30 minutes on your contest prep, and you start to building your off-season diet and you're in your head and
Hmm.
your off-season cycle and your off-season training and stuff like
We
that.
get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so that's why
We're
I
all that way
think,
though.
yeah.
We're obsessive. That's why we're good at what we do anyways. Otherwise, we wouldn't be good bodybuilders if we didn't think about it that intensely and want it that bad that it's always in the back of our head, you know?
Sometimes I
So, but
wonder what was in the head of Ronnie Coleman, because he
I don't
seems
know,
to
man.
be so calm and
I
steady,
feel like he's one of those guys he never overthought anything. I feel like he just did his thing and he's good and he just
and
grew
this
like
is why
crazy.
he's a king.
Right. Yeah. Because it's so toxic to overthink everything all the time, but I
Yeah,
do it. I do it nonstop.
me too, me too.
But it's
Yeah,
horrible for my progress.
yeah, and I told the same to my clients just because you often have messages like, "Coach, I today I am not hitting my steps. Do you think that I should do 10 minutes more cardio tomorrow?" No,
Nope.
just just go to
Stick
sleep,
to the
man.
plan.
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
It's like 1,500 steps. That doesn't not gonna kill you, man.
Right, right, right.
Seriously,
Exactly.
yeah.
You're overthinking
Coach,
it.
coach, I eat 150 grams of veggies today more. Do you think that I should cut calories tomorrow? No.
Right.
Go up and down on the stairs. You're probably gonna burn this.
I know.
That's all. Yeah, so the
Yeah.
city stuff like that, but everyone has it.
Everyone
Everyone.
does. We're all human,
Yeah.
man. We're all human at every level. This kind of stuff goes through guys' heads on the Olympia stage, you know? So, I mean, it's just part of it. And especially if you take it seriously for on yourself and expect a lot of yourself, that's my problem is I beat myself up when I mess up. I've always beat myself up when I make mistakes, when I miss a meal by an hour because I'm like behind on my schedule. I'm like, my world's falling apart. I'm like, now I'm going to go to bed an hour late. Then I'm going to get up late. Then my day tomorrow is going to be messed up and I'm going to be late for my training partner. And like, you think all these things and it's like, dude, just go with the flow. And that's what
Yeah.
I would tell other people. But it's hard because we're so rigid and we expect so much and we want to be as competitive as possible because of our passion for it, you know?
Yeah. Man, so if we are talking about being precise and stuff like that, you probably knows your numbers. So just tell us how many grams of carbs you eat on a regular diet right now on a training and non-training days, how many protein, how many fats, just to show people how it looks like on a guys like your level.
Well, I will say I am generally am precise, and I do my YouTube videos where I'll calculate the macros and stuff. When Chris sends me a new diet, I don't immediately like count the macros. And we just updated my low days and my high days recently. I would say he probably bumped me like 100 grams of carbs on each day. So like I have it on my phone if I could pull it up, but like uh my low days were on training days 300 grams of carbs. Um, let's see.
Low days?
And and let's see, this was 8 weeks out. So 322 carbs, it was 338 protein, 61 grams of fat. That's as low as my training days got. That's 3,200 calories. And I was starving at that food. I mean, that's like for me, that's bird food,
Yeah,
because I'm used to like 6,500 calories in the off season. So to be less than half of what I'm used to eating is like pretty rough. And then on my off low training days, it was like 185 grams of carbs. Um, And then for a while now, my high days we would bump down to like closer to 313 grams of protein, 490 carbs, and 67 grams of fat. So that's like 3,800 calories. Um, but now, like I said, he bumped my low days and my high days up across the board. So I'm probably eating more like 600 grams of carbs on my on my high days,
Okay.
which today is a high day. I'm doing like 275 grams of rice per meal.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how many carbs that is. Let's see.
Me neither, just because we are counting dry
Right,
here in
right. See,
Europe.
I
Yeah.
count cooked.
I can't
So
just because it's always differs.
that's about 80 grams of carbs per meal. 275 grams of rice is around 75 grams of carbs.
Yeah. That's a pretty high. That's more than I eat right now a rebound.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. When Chris pulls me out of prep, I'm eating like 500 grams of rice in a meal. I'm eating like 135 grams of carbs on a meal. He
Yeah.
feeds me hard, and
Which
he told me he said I'm probably gonna hate my my peak high days for this show because he said I'm gonna have to eat so much to fill up. I'm probably gonna be sick of food, is what he told me the other day.
yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, but I'm maybe like 235 right now. I don't know. I'm 106 kilo on the morning scale. So it's
Okay.
100 is 220 and 6 plus 12, 14 is 235. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
235 pounds. So I am not that huge, but I am 5'6". So
That's
that's
big for your height, man. Jeez. Yeah.
no, it's
Didn't
not.
know how tall you look taller in your pictures.
No, I'm short. 170 centimeters. So it's like a 5'6", 5'7", 5'6", I think.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's about 5'7", I think.
Oh, maybe 5'7".
Hmm.
Yeah. Depends on what calculator you use.
Yeah.
Because never mind, I'm short.
All these conversions, right?
If my
It should all be metric. We should all just do metric, but we got this US system that that's why I like to measure everything in grams. It drives me crazy.
Me
Like
too.
my wife's I love her coach, but I have my wife working with a coach because I don't want to coach my wife, and she doesn't compete right now, but it's much better to leave that in like someone else's hands. She always has her fitness goals, and it's like I have a coach, she has a coach. It just works well for us to both
Yeah.
stay on diet. She always has goals for the gym, which I love that she has. So, but her coach measures even rice in ounces. So I'm like, she's like, "Can you help me figure out my macros to swap for this meal?" And I'm like, "Okay, how many grams of rice?" So, well, it's 5.2 ounces of rice. I'm like, I don't know anything about
Yeah.
what that means. I do everything in grams. I
I'm
hate doing
shocked.
ounces.
I'm shocked even that you are counting the rice cooked because I have I've worked with Dan Mutasio and he's
Did you know that's my wife's coach?
yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Dom Matazio is her coach. That's so funny.
Yeah, yeah,
That's who
and
I'm talking about.
he
He measures in ounces.
he gives me a grams for the rice, but doesn't
Gotcha.
matter just because I've add a certain amount of water and we didn't discuss that. And he wanted me to eat like a 60 grams of carbs each meal, and I've eat like 15 grams of carbs.
Mm.
15, not 50.
Oh,
15. And I lost a bunch of
I bet.
weight. Yeah. He has to give me a cheat meals and stuff like that. And he told me that I have very fast metabolism. And then when we go to the carb up, I've realized, oh shit, I counted it wrong
Oh
for
no.
the whole time. Yeah, that was
We
like
do
a
stuff like that sometimes.
tiny little rice
Oh my
for
gosh, you're probably
the.
so flat.
Yeah,
What
I was.
you still work with him or no?
No. I
Okay.
was working with him like a 1.5 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
Right now,
Dom's
I'm
a great
working
guy. I
with
really
Luke.
like Dom a lot.
Yeah, sometimes I still chat with him. So
Yeah, he's
he's
very
a great
smart.
guy. He's a great guy. He's always calling to me and stuff like that. So he's a great guy.
That's cool.
Yeah. I just don't like the cheat days approach and stuff like that. He
Yeah,
gives
Brittany
me.
had my wife, she has
I've
cheat days
hated.
where she
I've
like
hated.
she her first two meals of the day are diet meals and then the rest of the day she goes off the
I
rails.
have the
I'm like,
same. I have the same.
and so yeah, she, I even told her, I was like, hey, how about you try to like maybe keep it more of a chill day and not just look to see what you can eat today and try to see if you can do like some home cooked meals and stuff like that. And she started making more progress. And
Yeah.
I just think it's too much freedom for most people unless they have some wicked, crazy metabolism to be able to have an entire cheat day.
But man,
It's not, and I
if
mean, the
I
mental
don't
break is
know
okay, but
if I don't know if I'm allowed to eat something,
right.
it's boggling me.
Yeah.
It's just I just feel bad.
Yeah, I do
It's
too.
it's just I in
The
one
max I
point,
can do sometimes is like in the off season, I may have a cleaner meal that's close to my
yeah,
macros, and then that night go for something that's a little more dirty. But that's the most I'll do because Chris, my coach, has me do a freedom day where basically we were backing off my carbs. Sorry if I someone called me.
no,
I
it's
don't know if you can
everything's
still
fine.
see me, but
Yes, yes.
where we would back off my carbs and then I would be allowed a cheat meal or possibly a cheat meal and like a lighter meal during that day as well. So I like that approach to have some freedom away from bodybuilding that day. You're not training, you can focus on life and family. That's good, but it needs to be like the social focus and the focus on separating for a day, not just focus on food and how much food can I eat, and I'm going to go get pizza this meal and then a burger for one meal and then this and that. Next thing you know, you've had 7,000, 8,000 calories in a day. It's not beneficial at all for
Especially
anything.
especially that if you start doing something like that, that you're having regular cheat meals or cheat days, you start to craving them
Right, exactly.
a
You do.
lot. I was
100%.
waiting at the end of the working with them. I was waiting just the week, whole week is end just to have my cheat day, and that was
Right.
crazy. I was not focusing
Yeah.
on
You start
bodybuilding.
to obsess over it.
I just thinking about what I'm gonna eat on the weekends, and
Exactly. I don't
that
even think
was
I was thinking about it today. I haven't thought about food in weeks, like
yeah.
cheap food, dirty food. I mean, it, I don't even know whether or not I'll eat after Chicago because I'll probably do Tampa 2 weeks later. So it's like, I,
Yeah, you do.
I'm sure I'll have a meal. Chris is
Yeah.
just very strict about that stuff. He really is. Like when I won, it's a funny story. I was pretty food focused during prep for USA's, and I had it all planned out and mapped out where we were going to eat. And my friends were already headed over to the restaurant, got like table and stuff for us and everything because I was staying till the very end, like meeting people and whatever else because I won the overall. And so I'm backstage talking to my Chris on the phone, and we're all excited that I won. And then he's like, "Oh, by the way, like just a steak and potato tonight." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Well, you have a photo shoot with J.M. Mannion in the morning because you won the USA
Oh,
overall, and I'm not having you look like crap after gaining a ton of water tonight. So you got to keep it to a steak and a potato." And my friends were all at this burger place I'd been wanting to go for weeks. So we ended
that's
up
a
having
cruel
I was like, I had all these
experience.
ideas. I was gonna have all these desserts that night, and I had to wait until after the photo shoot the next day. Chris is that way. He keeps me. He knows my body. I don't respond well to cheat food. I hold tons of water.
Me
So like
too.
it's always better for me to just keep it controlled until like I'm done, and then I can have some food and I'm gonna look like crap for a few days.
Yeah,
Just
I always give myself 2 days, but I'm never crazy with it.
yeah, I
So
don't go
it's not
crazy.
I don't I was in the past. In the
Yeah.
past after my first show, I remember I eat for a 3 days straight to the point my stomach hurts so much that I fall asleep. Then I wake up, and if I was able to move, I go to the gas station, buy as many sweets I can carry to my home, eat them all until my stomach starts to hurt, lay
Yep.
down, go to sleep, and repeat.
Yeah, it'll cause some bad
Yeah,
eating disorders, man. It really will. I
I
mean,
was
you gotta
natural back
be,
then. Yeah, I was
yeah, you
natural
gotta
back
be
then.
aware of it. Like, and that's a conversation I have to have with my clients, and they don't believe me until that show date goes away and they realize like some of them are so confident, oh, I'm not gonna go crazy after the show. But when that show day commitment is gone and you have this opening of what's next, and then you have this reverse diet or this post-show plan diet written down from your coach, and you're like, I have that, or I can go get whatever I want. Discipline often goes out the window for
Yeah,
people, and it has for me as well. I never couldn't reel it back in, but the problem was I knew when my cheat meals were coming up weekly and I would binge. Like back in years ago in 2018, I remember some of the days, man, there's one time I had an extra large pizza all by myself, like 6 or 8 donuts, and then I started cracking into the freezer. I found some like old ice cream in there, like a half a tub of the big tubs of Breyer's ice cream. I ate the whole thing, and then I'm like finding stuff in the cabinets, cereals, spoon of peanut butter.
the
Like the last
worst.
thing I found a protein bar that wasn't even that good that I got from the show, and I'm laying on my side in bed, just eating this protein bar, and my stomach hurts so bad. It's like it's so unhealthy when you allow yourself to get to that point,
Yeah,
and that's why you learn over time to not be food focused, but the sooner you can learn that, the better,
yeah,
because it's going to pay off, because you'll ruin your off season if you go off the rails right after a show. There's no reeling it back in. You're just going to rapidly gain body fat and water, and then you're not sensitive anymore. So,
yeah. Especially when it comes to the reverse dieting stuffs like that, or not reverse dieting because no one doing it.
no.
I mean more like a rebound
Right,
phase.
rebounding.
This is the
I
word
we
that I've
go
lost.
straight to high food post show.
Yeah, but
So,
that's not enough. You're still hungry as fuck.
no. Yeah, it makes you hungry. It makes you hungrier.
Hungrier. Yeah,
Like
that's what I'm
today,
talking
I'm
about.
so hungry on my high day. I almost would have rather stay low days because it cranks my hunger, and all I can think about is the next meal.
Yeah.
It's like it makes me so hungry. It's crazy.
Today was my check-in day with my coach, and he left everything without the changes, and I was kind of happy because
Really.
if he bumped up my calories, yeah, my weight is creeping up, and I'm feeling great. I don't want to lose my shape. I have
Yeah.
a next show in 22 weeks,
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, so I don't want to screw it up.
Right.
And I know that if he give me more food, I will probably gonna be more hungry.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
Right.
I've even cut down my veggies to a
Oh,
lower
yeah.
amount just to be less full. So
How
my
much do you eat per
stomach,
meal?
how much I was eating or I eat right now.
Both. I'm curious. How many grams generally of like veggies do you eat on a meal?
Right now, 150.
Okay. See, I do about 100 grams of veggies. I
Just
generally won't go much over a
I
hundred
think
grams,
that's too low. I right now I'm
but
keeping
that's
and
cooked weight. I measure mine cooked.
I've never even thought about that. I
I don't
also
know that
measure
there's
it
much of a
cooked.
difference.
Yeah,
See, like I
I
cook
don't
my
think it is.
zucchini in an air fryer. I do wonder how much water it pulls out.
Oh,
So probably
probably, yeah.
raw is probably 150, I'm sure.
Maybe. Yeah, but what I wanted to say, I just lost it.
You're
Ah,
good.
never
Good.
mind. Yeah, oh yeah, I keep an eye on fiber intake to be honest. And I've
Gotcha.
add fiber to my cream of rice
Okay.
also, just from the following of the Wesley Wizards. And I'm telling you, I never have better digestion and never
Yeah,
have
I add
like
fiber
a
to meal five.
smaller waist and better control. Just because
Yep.
I think that
You can't get backed up,
bodybuilder,
bro.
yeah, bodybuilder's diet is so poor.
It
It,
is.
I was in a point that I was eating like a 50 to 100 grams of veggies. That's nothing.
No, it's not. Yeah, right. I was doing the same thing. I remember in my prep in 2018, there was a lot of meals I never had veggies on them at all. It was just chicken and rice.
I've also eat
Or
a lot
or
of
if it didn't have
fruits.
rice, it would have vegetables, but it didn't make sense. Why wouldn't I have rice and vegetables on the same meal? You
Yeah,
know? There's so many people that get in their off seasons and they're eating so much rice that they think it's going to help them to do less vegetables, but it's not. It's only going to
yeah,
negatively affect their digestion, and that's something my coach Chris is big on is variety in the diet, keeping a big variety of like vegetables and different kinds of foods, sourdough bread, different things that like help with digestion and help move things through. So I'm big on that too. I'm big on that too.
yeah. I think it's so important, and I neglected it for a long time, and now I see the difference. And I'm telling you, it's much. Even adding a little bit more water to my cream of rice. I
Yeah,
was making my cream
I
of
do that
rice
in prep too.
like a concrete.
Yeah, it's not
And
good, man.
right
I'm
now
I'm
I've
obsessive of, yeah, if you've watched my YouTube videos, I'm big on making the consistency perfect on it.
you're doing at times four water, yeah?
Yep. Hmm.
I'm doing like times seven or eight.
Oh my goodness, it's like
Yeah.
soup.
No, it's not because I've add fiber to that.
Oh,
And
really?
it comes with a
It
perfect
thickens it up?
consistency. Man,
Really?
it's like your it's looking exactly like your brownie butter at four
Wow,
times four, but it's times eight, and it's digest twice as fast
that's amazing.
because of the water. You
Huh.
you think that if you are eat almost a kilo of a meal, it's gonna
Right.
sit on your
No, I
stomach,
figured
but it's not
the more water you noticed it's helped your digestion more?
a
Really?
lot, man,
Interesting. That's good to
a
know.
lot.
That's good to know because when I get in the off season, I tend to put less water in my cream of rice because I don't want so much volume on my stomach. So
Yeah,
that's good to know.
it disappears. The feeling of being slightly full disappears in
Right.
20 minutes, and your stomach is flat
Right.
because it just flows through you. It's great. It's great, to be honest. Yeah,
I'll try it out.
probably when I'm gonna be on a deep off season, I'm gonna eat like a
Yeah, I
200 cream
won't
of rice
change
per
anything
meal.
in prep
I'm not
now, but
gonna, yeah.
I'll try it in the off season.
Watched the video of the Wesley Wizards, the perfect cream of rice or something like that, or the
Okay.
victory meal, something like that it's called. And
Okay.
he showing how to do it. It's
Okay.
basically just adding the fiber, but
I'll check it out, man.
yeah,
That's pretty
it's
awesome.
seriously great. It's changed a lot for me, and yeah, that's okay. We're not gonna talking about amount of water of cream of rice because
You're good, man.
it's a huge topic in Poland right now. I don't know
Is it
why,
really?
but the guys are just crazy about it.
That's
I don't
funny.
know why. Never mind. Okay, man. So you are 4.5 weeks out till you show. Tell me, what are your expectations? But seriously, not like, yeah, I want to be in the top six. That will be great. Maybe second call or first call out and stuff like that.
No,
Are you hoping for the first?
yeah, I want to win. I want to win.
Yeah, I like to hear
All the
that.
guys I know that are showing up, I know I can beat them. I'm not saying I know I will necessarily because I got to bring just the right peak. And I'm not arrogant in saying like, I've never been one of these guys that says, "Oh, I'm coming to win." I've never been that guy, but I'm so confident in what we're bringing that I'm saying honestly, from who I've seen so far showing up, and I don't know who from overseas or who hasn't qualified yet may jump in. So it obviously depends on who shows up. Like last year, I did Texas Pro, and I knew Hunter Labrada and Andrew Jack were showing up. Obviously, I'm not going to sit there and say I'm beating Hunter Labrada or Andrew Jack, right? But if someone comes in way off at that kind of level, I usually peak really well and I come in really good condition. So even if some really high up top guy comes in and they leave the door open, I think I could still win. But as far as who I know showing up to Chicago, um, I mean, I'm planning to win that show. I'm coming to win a show this year. I want to qualify for the Olympia. I've strided glutes at 258 flat. And I'm like 5'9.5". So like I'm a big guy, and it doesn't translate in photos until I'm on stage. So
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that's super balanced. I don't have any freak body parts really. But once I stand next to somebody is when I look my biggest because my structure's really wide. I'm usually wider than most guys. And I just have density and separation that a lot of guys don't have. So honestly, I'm confident that I can win this show for sure.
Yeah, definitely, especially from the back. Your
Yeah.
back, your posterior chain right now is much improved, and
And it only gets better close to the show as I dry out
yeah,
actually, because I'm
and filled
the
up.
last place that comes off for me is the lower back. There's a teeny tiny bit back there still, even though my glutes are in more.
Yeah,
And that's what we judge it by. And so I'll be ready in about 2 weeks, and then we'll be feeding hard into the show. I'll be completely ready 3 weeks out. Um, and then it's just drying out at that point. But we still haven't even used all the tools we need or can use to dry out. Like I have so much at my disposal right now to pull water off. So we're in such a good spot. I don't have any doubt we'll peak right. We
me
just, at this
neither.
point, I have to be careful being this lean. I feel very fragile, dry. As soon as we get off this call, I'm going to start stretching and rolling my legs because I got to train legs tomorrow. And like just walking around, I feel like my calves, my hamstrings, like they're just so dry. It's weird being 4.5 weeks out feeling like this, but I know it's going to pay off, but I don't think anyone's going to outcondition me. And for the most part, I'm one of the more balanced guys. I have shape. I have deep separation that the bigger guys don't have. So there's like feel like I'm kind of the jack of all trades here. And of all the guys I know that are showing up, I know I have the ability to beat them. So
Yeah, and I wish you that.
thank
I
you.
wish you that because I watch your stuff and I know how much you put into, and I very appreciate of seeing that on the YouTube, especially you nowadays where the people just showing crap
Yeah.
just to make a content, and you
I
just
try to put effort into
yeah,
everything I do, man.
definitely.
Because I'm humbled to be here, man. I was like, I was 18 years old watching Branch Warren and Johnny Jackson obsessing over like gasp and buying my first gas tank and being like, Mom, it's my dream to be sponsored by Gasp one day. And then, now I'm involved with them. And then like, all this stuff happening, like where I used to just be this kid that was just a super fan of bodybuilding. I can't, I can't be anything but humbled by it, but also feel I owe everything to the sport because it's given me such a great life and a career where I get to literally get paid to be a bodybuilder and train and do what I love to do. So like I try to put effort into everything and give people an insight on my life and with the vlogs and everything like that on my YouTube. I just want people to know how much I appreciate them and everyone's support, but also like how much I love bodybuilding at its core and how I enjoy every day doing it. I'm not just one of these boring bodybuilders that just pops his food in the microwave and lives miserably. I want to also enjoy every aspect of it, right?
Yeah, live your life to the fullest,
Exactly.
and by that I mean stick to the bodybuilding.
Hmm.
Okay,
That's living
man.
life to the fullest for me.
Of course, I am not gonna take you more time just because I know you're busy, you're
Thank you,
tired,
brother.
and I appreciate
I
that you
hope I
come
don't
to my
look too
podcast.
tired.
Who cares? Most of the guys just
I'm
listen.
getting the sunken cheeks, you know?
Yeah,
I can't help but look tired.
yeah, that's the that face.
Yeah, it's getting there.
But it's good. That's a good sign that you have it. So doesn't matter how it looks.
Yeah,
It's matter that you have a straight and glutes 4.5 weeks out, and
that's
that's
it.
what's important. Okay,
Yes,
man.
sir. Well,
Thank you
thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna translate it just to no, not me. I wanted to thank you, dude, who are actually doing it for free for me to translate it to an English. I appreciate your help, man. I just wanted to say that just because people are think that I am gonna do it myself, but I am not.
Yeah,
Right
that'd be
now, I
hard.
have a help. A lot of people. I'm like you. I'm so appreciative of all the people that helps with my channel. Just because people donate money or help me with translations and stuff like that,
Right.
just to put some bodybuilding content. Because here in Poland, we are not have too much opportunities to reach to the athletes like you, for example,
Gotcha.
and many people just still can't flowly speak English or even understand a tiny little bit. And the translation on the YouTube is so shitty that probably you're not gonna understand a single
Right.
word when it comes to
Well,
the
that's cool that you
bodybuilding.
got a translator, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I try to do it just because I know it's if one guy is gonna take something from that, that's a win. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So
And I
thank you.
appreciate any new Polish fans that I may acquire here. Like you guys, you follow me and hit me up with questions, and I appreciate any kind of support. I would definitely want to get myself out there to more of the world, not just the US. So I appreciate any and every support.
Yeah, every links to the social media for the Jordan you find on the description down below. So if you wanted to be a coach by him or just follow him on Instagram or buy his new t-shirts,
Yeah. Yeah, there
yeah.
is international shipping. Yeah, I appreciate that,
Yeah,
man.
of course. So you can do it and help him out and just give him some power, some Polish power, just to get through this 4.5 weeks and win his show. So thank
Absolutely.
you, and I hope you're having a great night today.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you having me on.
Thank you guys. If you stick with us to the end of this video, just please remember to subscribe, share this, and obviously hit the bell notification. Thank you so much and see you later.